Hello out there, anglers. This is Pete Prespiora coming to you from Omnia Fishing in Golden Valley, Minnesota. Last week I talked to everybody about the Ned rig and some of the tackle and products that we have to support that very popular technique. And it brought up the fact that the most popular technique we got asked was swimbait fishing, paddle tail swimbait fishing. So over the years, this style of bait, the paddle tail swim baits, have become the #1 go-to option to get bit out there on the water by all recreational anglers. The most popular one we sell is the 3.8 Fat Impact by Kitech. And with paddle tail swim bait, you need rigging options. And our most popular jig head for paddle tail swim baits is the Outcast Goldeneye. And this has been my go-to, my standard for most paddle tail swim bait fishing that I do as well. I love the hook in it. It's got a perfect head for coming through rocks, casts a mile. But one thing I noticed over the last couple of years fishing with some really good tournament anglers around the country and purist swim bait fishermen was a very popular style that doesn't get shown a lot, kind of a secret of the pros type thing, is really small swim bait fishing. So you're talking about your 3-inch swim baits like the Spark Shad, the Hazadong, the 3.3 Impact, the Easy Shiner in the 3-inch. Really small swim baits. And really there hasn't been a lot of attention paid on the terminal side to how you rig those or what you're going to fish those with. And after doing a ton of research over this, I found that the most popular jig head out there was the Smeltinator. The Smeltinator is a jig head that is out of Canada. Brian Gustafson makes these. A lot of successful tournament anglers have kept this jig a secret for a long time. They have sold a ton of these up there, and a lot of the anglers that have come across the border and anglers from down here in the States that have won a lot of tournaments on little swim baits have been using these jig heads for a while. And it's all in the details. There's little bits about this jig that make it excel over all the other small swim bait jig heads out there on the market. The collar's very friendly for all different types of swim bait heads. It holds them incredibly well. When I looked at it, it was kind of underwhelming until I actually fished with it. You can see the aggressive pitch of the lip on the front of the jig head here. That makes it come through rocks extremely well for such a tiny little jig head. It does come in a couple different small hook options. This hook is the best hook I've ever fished with a little small jig head in my life. It's a like 100% hookup rate kind of hook. It's a killer hook. This jig has been knocked off. It's been copied. People have tried to get them from all over the place, tried to source them. They're tough to get down here in the States, but we've got them at omniafishing.com now. We carry them in a few different colors. My favorite would be the unpainted version. I like to just doll up my own jig heads depending on the situation, or just fish them unpainted. This is just a 1/0 version and an 1/8 ounce. As you can see on a 3.3 Kitech here, it matches up perfect. It comes through cover really well, through rocks, I should say, hard cover. The tight lining technique, which is very key to fishing these tiny little small swim baits, is basically keeping a bow in your line and kind of just keeping that bow at the same pace that's at the same rate. You're kind of watching that as you're reeling it in, so you can keep that bait kind of coming across the water column like this, versus kind of making a tight dive down and straight back up to you. Kind of keeps it in an area of the water column for you that you choose. It takes some practice, but once you get it down, it is probably the most deadly get bit way to fish right now out there in the fishing industry. So go ahead, and if you check out the Smeltinator jigs on omniafishing.com, we've got, like I said, about 4 colors and a few different hook size options. We do sell a couple of the colors in 10-pack options to give you some cost savings. I promise you, if you give these little jigs a shot, they'll be your favorite small swim bait jig heads you've ever tried. Thank you, and have a good one.